I'm Chris, and today we're going to build this rustic pallet chair. Let's do this real quick.
It's quite interesting how much you can actually get out of a few pallets. After you've disassembled the pallet, the next thing to do is figure out what wood you're going to use. What's bad, what's good, what's scrap, good enough for the bonfire. Well, now we have a few decisions to make. Depending upon what you have, your measurements might be a little bit different. If you want arms on your chair, you might want to go with about 22 inches across. If you don't want arms, you could probably get away with 16 inches, or about 18 inches rather. 16 inches from front to back is usually pretty good. And the length of your pallet also determines some of these measurements. You need enough overhang on the back, and then when you place your arms, you can't place them right at the end. You want to set them in a little bit so that you're going to have enough room to run a support up, and then the arm of the chair should actually cover the support. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to use 5 boards, give me about 18 inches back. I'm going to do 22 across. That way if I do want to do arms later on, or I don't want to do arms, I have enough to play with. So what I'm going to do now is cut all these boards down the size. What you can do is cut one end of the board off first, measure to the other side. Measure it and mark it at 20 inches. And then you can quickly mark the other boards, trying to cut out any imperfections in the wood, any knots or splits or anything like that. Next, I'm just going to lay one board on top and one board on the back. Get it nice and flush. I'm not overly concerned about it being perfect and being square and everything else. This is going to sit outside by my fire. I'm just using some old nails. Use screws or whatever you like. You could make sure it's square if you like. It's entirely up to you with this type of project. This is just a rough idea of what it's going to look like. Right now I'm going to attach 2 boards to the top. The width of the back is determined by the inside measurement of the seat. What I'm looking for is to sit back into the seat. I wanted my knees to be to the edge and almost 90 degrees from whatever angle this is to the ground. I didn't want my feet way out and my knees way out. I definitely need arms in here because it's too difficult to get out of the chair otherwise. Let's get going. I want to measure the outside distance, which is about 17 and 5/8, and then I'm going to cut my boards for my back. The easiest way for me to get everything lined up was to measure this distance, that distance, make sure they're the same, then measure here to here and put the same distance here, clamp everything together. That way I know I got this relatively squared to the rest of the frame. Just gonna nail them in place. Well, that'll give it some character. I bet you there was a nail in here or something that I hit. When I had the chair mocked up, what I was thinking was if I did want to put a bunch of boards on the back, I'm going to leave a gap here for the armrest. So when I had it mocked up, I put the armrest there and then put a board underneath and drew a line on the bottom of the board. So now I know I'm going to put a board here and one underneath it. It should give me a little bit of a gap here when I set everything up. And if I want to add another board after I figure out what I'm going to do for the arms, I should have the clearance to do so. I just want to pre-drill countersink and throw some screws in here. I'm going to trim all the feet with a jigsaw. I could have done this with the table saw beforehand had I known all the angles. Alright, now that we got all the legs cut, what I actually did was just take a level and traced out my line. Cut the backs off, let the front one hang over, clamped it in place, let it hang over my table a little bit, drew a line, took that piece off, went to the table saw and cut it. And we're pretty good now. The only thing we got to figure out now is where exactly I want the armrest to be. And the only way I'm going to figure that out is by sitting in the chair, seeing what I like. Alright, time to put the legs back on. Next, we're going to figure out the armrest. I'm going to notch it down here and let it slide into place. Screw it to the frame. And then here I could just screw it straight down. Now that I have my pattern marked out, I'm going to cut it out. Alright, I've notched out for the frame here. I'm going to nail this other piece in here for backrest, but otherwise that's going to sit in there just like that. I'm going to secure this underneath I already pre-drilled. Alright, now to countersink. And screw it in place. The only other thing I might do is router everything out. Otherwise we're pretty much done. I could add another piece here if I had it across the front. Sand it down a little bit. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the project. If you like what you've seen, please thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any other ideas on how to build this better or differently, please leave a comment below. Check out some of my other videos. Never know what you might like.